Hey Geek, so say for example you wanted to watch your favorite movie or show on physical media. What are the general steps to doing that? Well, the first and obvious thing is you're actually going to have the movie or show that you want. And if you're fortunate enough to have a physical location that has these, then that's great. But the movie or show that you want might not be available depending upon where you go and depending upon what they offer. And of course, there's always the option of ordering your favorite movie or show online, which is what most people do nowadays because most physical locations that sell Blu-rays and 4Ks, they're becoming more and more rare. And so that is the first thing, is finding it and also getting the title that you want, and of course paying for these. So Blu-rays and 4Ks, typically for new, they can go from anywhere around $10 up to $40, $50, $60 or more, depending upon whether or not it is a boutique label or if it's a limited edition. So the price ranges, but for most of these titles, you're probably going to be paying around the $10 to $20 for a new Blu-ray or 4K. And then you're actually going to have some type of player to watch your physical media on, and even that, if your Blu-ray or 4K is in bad condition, it has scratches or whatnot, then it might not work all the time. And so that is the overall process of watching a movie or show through physical media. But let's talk about the other side of things, where most people are used to watching movies and shows through streaming or digital services. And the process on that is you're either going to go through a platform that you have to pay for, like Netflix or Amazon Prime, or maybe you could watch it for free through services like Tubi or YouTube. And all you have to do is do a search for the titles that you want, and if it's available, just go ahead and click play. And of course, you have to have an internet connection to watch it on. And that is the main point of today's video, and that is convenience. And so convenience is a really big thing that most of us nowadays don't think about anymore, because if you were born in an age where you had to physically get your favorite movies and shows, we're used to this. But nowadays, what we're used to is conveniently getting the things that we want, typically with just a touch of a finger. And that is something that blows my mind. If I think back about when I was a kid, something like this would be like some sci-fi thing where you could watch practically anything you want from all around the world through your phone. Absolutely insane. But there is a price to pay for that convenience. And the price that I'm talking about here isn't really just money, but it's freedom. Convenience over freedom is something that the vast majority of us are willingly giving away and spending money on without putting too much thought into it, because it's normal. This is normal modern society where convenience is the most valuable thing for most people, and they're willing to not only give up their money, but most importantly, give up their freedom. So what are some of the freedoms that I'm talking about here? Well, for the vast majority of all of these services, you're normally going to need to have some type of accounts. Now, there are some services like Tubi and YouTube where you don't need to have an account to actually watch these things, which is great, but most of these streaming services do require an account to access, plus they require you to pay for it. And so that is the first and biggest thing, is access. So you're giving away your freedom for access, because without these accounts and without paying for it, then you cannot access these things. And then another thing is availability, meaning that these media studios and companies, they are licensing out these movies and shows for these platforms for you to watch. But at any point in time, these licenses can expire or be revoked. And that leads me to the final part of this, and that is control. Because once you are in their platform and system, they have all the control. For example, if there's something that you don't like about that platform, well, you could suggest things or leave complaints or comments, but they have the ultimate control. And they also have the ultimate control to revoke your access or completely remove it, even if you're a paying customer, for whatever reason. Policy changes, violations, any of those things could actually keep you from accessing the things that you paid for, even if you quote unquote bought them. And so all of those things really come back to freedom for me, because I really do not like the fact that my freedom, my choices, my ability to change things as I want is really not under my control. It's up to these platforms, these companies, these studios to control everything. And that is something that I am gladly willing to put in some work for physical media to still have my freedom. Because if you are somebody who only gets these services digitally and you're really happy with the convenience, then that's really great. I have definitely nothing wrong against those people who decide to do that, only because I know the pros when using a lot of these digital services. But on the other end, once you start seeing these issues, these problems, this control over you, then you start to realize that, well, your freedom was pretty important, but now you've given that up for convenience. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my movie collection videos, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you on another episode.